In the quaint, enigmatic town of Durham, North Carolina, Elliot paced the creaky wooden floors of his sparse office. Each groan of the floorboards echoed his mounting apprehension. Stacks of haphazard paperwork rustled like leaves in an autumn wind, while the quiet tick of an ancient clock whispered of the passage of time. Elliot's fingers drummed on the mahogany desk, his sapphire eyes reflective pools of thought, lost in the quiet bustle of the town outside his window. A trauma-stricken past sat on his shoulders, casting a gentle shadow on his strong features. He was the town's only private investigator, a guardian of truths buried under layers of town gossip and whispered lore. A rap on his office door interrupted his thoughts, and in walked a local woman, Mrs. Abernathy, an elderly woman wrinkled by the flow of time, worries painted in the furrows of her brow. Her eyes sparkled with an unsettling mix of fear and hope. "Elliot," she began, her voice a quiver, "there are rumors, dear boy. Terrible, dreadful rumors." His gaze softened, his past shaping his empathy for this woman, caught in the grip of fear. "What kind of rumors, Mrs. Abernathy?" "About the old Mason family crypt, dear. They say bioweapons are hidden there, being made by, well, they say the Masons were never really gone." His heart hitched, the gravity of the situation sinking in. He considered the Mason crypt, a looming Gothic structure at the edge of town, shrouded in lore and whispered secrets. Intrigue ignited within him. He knew what it was like to feel powerless, to be held hostage by uncertainty, and he wouldn't wish that upon anyone. "I'll look into it, Mrs. Abernathy." His voice was firm, the words punctuating his resolve. Relief washed over the elderly woman's face, and with a faint smile, she left him to his ponderings. As twilight seeped into Durham, painting the quaint town with hues of amethyst and obsidian, he found himself standing before the Mason family crypt. The moon, a pearl set against the velvet canvas of night, cast long, spectral shadows that danced over the crypt's weathered stone facade. A sense of dread simmered in the pit of his stomach. But he was no stranger to dread. He'd faced it before, overcome it before, and he vowed to do so again. And with that thought echoing in his mind, he pushed open the creaky gate, the metallic whine cutting through the night. As dawn's first light graced the town of Durham, Elliot found himself ensnared within the crypt's chilling allure. Stone statues stared with sightless eyes, whispers of forgotten souls hanging heavy in the still air. Among the cobwebs and decay, he sought answers to quell the growing unease gnawing at his sanity. Buried within the crypt's dimly lit corners, he found a wealth of faded parchment and brittle documents, remnants of the Mason family's lineage. His fingers danced over hastily scribbled notes, the ink long since faded, the words echoing tales of otherworldly rituals, and mentions of a hidden cult tucked away within the seams of the society he knew. One weathered letter in particular arrested his attention. The prose, eloquent yet eerie, detailed a starlit ceremony, a dance with cosmic powers and the promise of ascending human limitations. "The cycle of ascendance," it read, "is nigh. Our earthly shells shall transform. The ethereal entity shall be our new birthright." He felt the first licks of terror nipping at his edges. The narrative unfolded like a spectral waltz, each phrase heightening his dread, painting a canvas of cosmic horror and earthly malevolence. A hidden cult thriving beneath the town's nose. Biological experiments. Not of this world, but of something beyond, a dark shadow looming over the reality he thought he knew. Consumed by the document's revelations, he took his findings to the town's eccentric historian, Mr. Harlow. The aged man, with a beard like an unkempt forest and eyes as bright as stars, hummed pensively over the parchments. "The Masons, yes," he muttered, squinting at the faded letters. "Dark folk they were, if the town lore is to be believed. But a cult, you say?" A cloud of concern passed over his face, followed by a spark of determination. "The cult of the cosmos. I recall a tale of an entity from the spaces between stars, a bringer of ascendancy. A mad notion, but maybe not so mad given these." Faced with the weight of these revelations, Elliot retreated to the solitude of his office. His thoughts swirled like a storm, each piece of the puzzle stirring a growing unease within him. The town he had grown to love was entwined with something far more sinister than he could have ever imagined. The crypt, the rumors, the cult, it was all part of a hideous tapestry, weaving a narrative of terror. As night fell, he stared out at the silhouettes of Durham's sleepy landscape. The town had unsuspectingly cradled a malevolent secret in its heart, a secret now breathing life into his darkest fears. He realized the enormity of the task that lay ahead. The path leading into the morrow was one paved with grotesque revelations and darkened truths. Fear clawed at his consciousness, but the memory of Mrs. Abernathy's worried face, the safety of his beloved town, and the urge to save his loved ones from the impending doom spurred him forward. He knew he had to descend, even if the path would irrevocably alter the fabric of his reality. For at the heart of Durham's fear lay a hidden cult, and in its shadow, a cosmic horror far beyond human comprehension. The world shifted around Elliot as he ventured deeper into the cryptic labyrinth of Durham's past. The town, once a familiar sanctuary, was now awash with whispers of unseen terrors. Each passing day bore witness to the unfolding of a macabre narrative that entangled him in its chilling tendrils. Guided by the documents he'd found in Harlow's alarming interpretations, he began to decode the crypt's insidious secret. It was more than the illegal proliferation of bioweapons. It was a grand design, a deadly symphony enacted by the hidden cult to breach the veil of reality and beckon a cosmic horror into existence. As the days bled into weeks, the veil of normalcy lifted. Shadows danced where there were none. Strange murmurs followed him through the deserted streets of Durham. His dreams were filled with haunting images of starlit rituals, swirling nebulae, and a terrifying entity with eyes like black holes. One late evening, amidst a storm that roared outside his office window, a breakthrough struck. He pieced together a diagram hidden within the tangle of cryptic notes. It was a biological blueprint, a complex blend of earthly and cosmic, destined to serve as a vessel for the dark cosmic entity, the so-called bringer of ascendancy. His conversation with Harlow over a hastily shared dinner was punctuated by unsettling revelations. "It's a harbinger, Elliot," Harlow rasped. "Not just a symbol of chaos, but of transformation. The cult believes that by merging this entity with a human, they can ascend to a higher plane of existence." A sense of dread wound around his heart. The thought of such an entity within the bounds of his beloved town was a horror he could scarcely comprehend. Yet the more he learned, the more he found himself drawn towards the morbid fascination that underpinned the cult's belief. His days were swallowed by investigations, his nights tormented by otherworldly dreams. He saw himself standing amidst the cult, not as an enemy, but a participant. He witnessed the transformation, the embodiment of the cosmic horror. It was horrifying, yet in some twisted way, also enlightening. He found his perception of reality shifting, the edges blurring into a terrifying yet captivating chaos. In the pit of his worst fears, he began to understand the allure of the cult of cosmos. He saw the potential for salvation, not just for himself, but for the town that had come to mean everything to him. Now entangled in the web of cosmic horror, he realized the horrifying extent of the cult's plan. And within the pits of his growing dread, an insidious thought took root. Could the cult's vision of ascendance be the key to saving his loved ones and his town? Could he dare to take the dreadful path laid out by the cult of cosmos? The haunting echo of his future, painted in the dreams bestowed by the cosmic entity, roared in the back of his mind, a constant reminder of the path he was destined to tread. Under the brooding Carolina night, Elliot stood at the precipice of the unknown. The crypt, an ancient sentinel bearing silent testimony to Durham's unspoken past, loomed before him. The dread of the unknown danced with the intrigue of knowledge on the edge of his consciousness. He clutched the unearthly biological blueprint, a symbol of his path forward, as he descended into the crypt's bowels. In the chilling silence, he navigated the labyrinth of dust-covered crypts and age-old secrets. As he moved deeper, a strange hymn vibrated in the air. It was a chorus of ancient voices, a whispered chant that echoed with the cosmic pulse coursing through his veins. He followed the sound, the alluring pull of the unknown leading him to a hidden chamber illuminated by the eerie glow of bioluminescent fungi. There the cult of Cosmos congregated, their hoods obscuring their faces, their voices blending in an ethereal chant. At the center of their assembly was a structure, pulsating with an otherworldly glow, designed to mirror the biological blueprint he held. He stood entranced, his rational mind screamed warnings, his instinct urging him to flee. But another part, a part awakened by the cosmic entity's whispers, urged him forward. The cult's chants swelled, their voices echoing his internal struggle. Suddenly, the cultists fell silent. They turned as one to look at Elliot. Fear and fascination warred within him as he met their gaze. In their eyes, he saw no malice, only an anticipation mirroring his own. A voice, deep and resonant, broke the silence. "Elliot, we've been waiting for you." From the shadows emerged Harlow, his familiar features bathed in the chamber's glow. His expression was stern yet inviting, his eyes shining with a profound understanding. "To save Durham, Elliot," he began, his voice layered with conviction, "we must embrace the cosmic." Confusion, terror, and a twisted sense of understanding collided within him. The implications were monstrous, yet they offered a glimmer of salvation. Could he sacrifice his normality, his humanity, to preserve the town he loved? In the end, the answer came not from his mind, but his heart. A heart shaped by past traumas, a heart that yearned to protect his loved ones. With a deep, shuddering breath, he stepped forward, accepting the cosmic entity's call. The cult of Cosmos resumed their chant, their voices rising in a crescendo. As he merged with the biological structure, he felt his consciousness break, reality splintering as he transcended the bounds of humanity. The cosmic entity, its essence woven into his being, awakened him to dimensions unknown. As he embraced the cosmic horror, he didn't feel fear. Instead, he experienced a sense of unity, a communion with the cosmos that felt horrifyingly right. He was not losing himself. He was evolving, transcending to save the town he cherished. As the final traces of his human existence melded with the entity, his last coherent thought was of hope. In the quiet town of Durham, where every secret had its shadow, the private investigator had willingly turned into the heart of the mystery, forever entwined with the cosmic entity in a dance of grotesque salvation. We appreciate you tuning in. If you fancied the content, show your support with a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to keep up with our eerie adventures. Eldritch Tales Factory has plenty more to offer. Until next time.